Hi parents, it's Miss Hanson here, and today I have posted a video on my website, which can also be found on YouTube, about what special education is and how learning knows no bounds. So today I want to start out with all of you talking about the history of special education, and the history of special education really shows how far we have come in the education world today. So two main things I kind of want to talk about. Later we'll hear about IDEA, but first I really want to talk about the Education for All Handicapped Children Act of 1975, and what really the goal was to ensure children with disabilities to gain access to a free and appropriate public education where no child can be left behind, really. And the law provided local and statewide support and protection to children and youth with disabilities as well as their families. Um, so next we'll just go into IDEA, and I picked the 2004 version to talk about. It's the newest one that is adapted by schools, and it was amended in 1977, but under the new legislation of 2004, all states receiving federal funding must provide students with disabilities free and appropriate education, public education, must identify, locate, and evaluate children with disabilities, develop individualized education program, which we'll talk about coming up, um, educate children with disabilities within their least restricted environment, determining pretty much what services are needed and how much time they should spend inside and outside the classroom with support and help needed along with them. So I just want to jump right into what is special education? Well, special education programs are designed for students who are mentally, physically, socially, and or emotionally delayed. And under the Individuals with Disabilities Act, these disabilities are categorized by these following areas. So first one's autism. Autism refers to the developmental disability that significantly affects the communication, both verbal and nonverbal, and social interaction. You can see symptoms before the age 3, and this is the most commonly seen one in the education field, along with ADHD and ADD. So going on, another common one is multiple disabilities. So these are the ones with intellectual disabilities and blindness, or it's like they have a combination of a few of them together, and not just are designed for programs for children with a single impairment. Um, Next one is a traumatic brain injury, and this can be identified by impairments of one or more of the following. So, for example, cognition, how they think, language, how they talk, how they present themselves while speaking, physical functions. So, if a child has any physical, um, anything physical wrong with them, just say they're in a wheelchair or they can't walk really the best, memorizing different things, their speech language impairment, intellectual disability. It is not retard. Mental retardation is not a good term, and we do not use that in special education anymore. No impairment, deaf and hearing impairment, deaf blindness, developmental delays, emotional disturbances, specific learning disabilities, and so on. So I just really want to jump into talking more about IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, and it's a law ensuring services to children with disabilities through the nation. Governs states and agencies providing early intervention special education related services to more than 6.5 million eligible infants, toddlers, and youth with disabilities. That is an astonishing number, isn't it? And the families receiving early intervention services under IDDK, there's different parts, and I've also posted these building the legacy IDA building blocks, so you all can go in and read more about this. But I'm going to move on with my presentation and talk about one of the first major steps of developing an individual education program, which is different types of assessments used in special education. Here are the examples that are most commonly used in special education, and the one I'm really going to be talking about is the screening test. So the screening test, the schools use them to help find children who might be below the norm in different areas or subjects in school, which would really be considered reading. Reading is one, and math is another one that are the two most common concern ones. Screening instruments are easily to administer and contain relatively few items that can be completed in a brief time. And it's pretty much the purpose of these screening tests is to alert the school to a potential problem that a more in-depth assessment can then be completed later with the individual education program. So the individual education program, I just want to, this picture does a good description of navigating the IEP process. So I will state a few of them, but really concentrate on explaining the really big ones. So first, pre-referral, which is parents work together with me or other teachers and the staff to try to resolve problems informally in the classroom. So not as such big ones, but maybe ones that might need a referral later down the road. So a referral is can be made by you parents or can be made by us teachers here at school or other staff. And what it really does is it requests an evaluation for special services for your child. And do that, you can send a letter, an email, anything to show communication with this. And after receiving the referral, the school district um, will provide you with a plan evaluating your child's needs. And after reviewing it, you can sign a consent form to really begin the IEP process, which would lead into, excuse me, which can lead into evaluation. And what this does is this really assesses your child. So let's say the screening test, we found a problem or there was something at home that you recognized. We will do a more in-depth determination of assessing your child and determine whether they need these special services. And they can be detected by the school psychologist, speech, language, pathologist, occupational and physical therapist, and others if we need them. So next is really setting up the IEP meeting. And after the evaluation is done, you meet with a school's personnel and review the results and discuss the main um, the main needs of your child and to really give them the best education that they deserve. And we will another big thing about the IEP meeting is that we will establish and really set up goals for your child to meet, so short-term and long-term goals. And after these goals are met, we will really focus on meeting other goals, which is a really key for the implement plan. And once you sign the IEP, it will be implemented as fast as as soon as we sign it. So if you disagree with the plan, this is important. You can request mediation to resolve the problem. So if there's any problems with your child or the plan, we can all get together and sit down and resolve these problems as a whole. And what really is the next and last thing is the revisions. If you guys have any problems, then it's renewed annually, so every year or whenever you as a parent request a meeting. And every 3 years, a child will be reassessed to make sure services are best fit for their needs. Or whenever you guys want to assess them again, we can surely do that. And as you can see, that leads to school success. So that is individuals with an individualized education plan, part of the IDEA. So what I really want to talk to you is more about the services. So like I said, all these links are posted on my website for you parents to go to, and also the South Dakota Special Education page is posted as well. So services are available and eligible to children with disabilities and can help children development and learn. Um, really, as a parent, if you would like to find out more about early intervention, you can have your child evaluate to no cost. So if you have another child that you're worried about, and before they start school, you can have them evaluated as well, which is nice. And special education related services are provided through the public school systems through us. So we can you can call our school to find out about these services, or we can tell you about referrals, and you can also contact our state's parent training information, which is you'll find on my website as well. So really, the services are needed if your child really needs them in the classroom. Say, we'll find out a percentage wise of, okay, so if Billy needs help mostly throughout the day but can handle PE and music and art by himself, we'll say that'd probably be 75% services and 25% without. And that can also be adjusted through the IEP. The last thing I really want to wrap up with is just letting you guys know that you have parental rights in special education. And I described that through the IEP process. So you guys really have a big say in the IEP and how your child is educated in school. So this will be posted on my website, and you guys can read through this. But what I want to point out is that you have the right to all concerns on the IEP for your child. And lastly, as a teacher, I just want to talk to you about tips for you parents of children with special needs and special education services. Some really big ones I want to talk about is please organize all your paperwork. Paperwork is so important in special education for meetings, conferences, etc., and to keep your child's special education documentation, meeting notes, and IMP informed so you can stay organized if there are changes to be needed, or to really move on throughout the goals and the process of your child through special education. Set up a communication log, review your child's current IEP, relieve back to school jitters for your child. So, just talking about the upcoming year and changes can help reduce some of the back to school anxiety for your child, and talk to them about exciting new classes, activities, and events that they can participate in, and just kind of during the new school year, and just to help them through the transition. Keep everyone informed. It's important that you and the school communicate often, so communicate with me as your teacher, and communicate along with the staff if any problems are uprising. Establish before and after school routines for your child. Start up to date special education news, so be knowledgeable about your child's IEP, their disability, can help you be a better advocate for your child, really. And to attend school events, so take advantage of everything, open houses, back to school nights, parent teacher conferences with me. So that's just really what special education is, and I'm glad that I can post this video to help you parents out. If you have any questions, just contact me, and you know my email is posted on the website. Thank you for watching.